to KwaZulu-Natal, where the Democratic Alliance and the Inkatha Freedom Party in that province have signed a service delivery agreement to ensure regulated and efficient service delivery across municipal councils where they share governance. The parties emphasize that this was not a coalition deal. However, a corporate agreement to challenge how service delivery is met in local municipalities with hung councils. Karinda Jagmohan is tracking this development for us, and you're standing by to tell us about what is contained in this agreement. Karinda, good afternoon.
Certainly, Judy, good afternoon to you. While among many factors, this move is, of course, in an effort to securing various municipalities in the upcoming elections next year. The DA and IFP, like you said, emphasizing this is not a coalition agreement, but it is an agreement, a working service delivery agreement to ensure that where there are hung councils and both parties have seats in those councils, they can hold to account their own public representatives to ensure that service delivery is actually delivered in an efficient manner in those various municipalities. So these will be especially holding to account councillors as well as the various committee chairpersons, if it may be, in those specific municipalities. This is not the first time we are seeing the DA and IFP work together in such a way. In fact, last year they signed an agreement for the by-elections at that time, where it was said, for example, if the IFP enjoys a majority vote in a specific ward, then the DA would not contest in that ward to ensure that the IFP can win or secure that ward, and vice versa for the parties. And so we are seeing this kind of agreement working together between these parties, specifically here in KZN, continue into this year up until the next election. We expect so, because what they say is, or their baseline is, that they're trying to remove their main opposition, the ANC, from power. I'd like you to take a listen to the IFP's Tami Ntuli as well as the DA's Francois Rogers, who spoke earlier at a media briefing.
On the issue of the identity, the IFP is a party on its own. Here we're just signing a working arrangement. And this working arrangement is directed to the municipalities. It's about the municipalities where we are on a coalition. There are municipalities which the IFP and the DA councillors are governing together with other parties. Hence, the SDA we are signing today is about that. But we'll be campaigning as the IFP, would be having our own manifesto, our own campaigns.
Even though the IFP and the DA may govern certain municipalities, certain hung municipalities, we're still under the sword of Damocles of the African National Congress. And they continue to make it impossible for not just the IFP, but also for the Democratic Alliance. And a prime example of that would be just last week in the legislature, there was a DA motion that was debated about the successes being achieved in Umgeni. Now, suddenly, and it's not part of her program, the Premier wants to hold an Imbizo in Umgeni to address service delivery challenges in Umgeni. But yet we sit in a city that is dysfunctional and collapsing. That is the sort of political opportunism that both the IFP and the DA need to take head on. Because that, in my opinion, is a gross misuse of power. But those are things that politically we will grapple with. But clearly that response shows us that we're hitting a nerve with the ANC.
Well, there you hear Francois Rogers, Tami Ntuli from the DA and IFP respectfully speaking about their new service delivery agreement. And at the end there you hear Rogers commenting on a question asked about how they plan to carry this out. So this service delivery agreement will see various organizations or committees formed between the two parties to say, well, if we believe that a councillor has done wrong on the ground, we can discuss this amongst our themselves as parties and find a way forward. But although they have this agreement, they say that they still fall under, of course, the fact that their main opposition is the ANC, which is still at the helm of government, and they say that they might find challenges in this as they go along. And on that note, in the next hour at 1 o'clock, we expect the KZN Premier to deliver a media briefing. She's currently here in Mayville speaking with various representatives of local municipalities in KZN that have gone through the Auditor General report, and they found to be either financially unstable or they were not able to spend their budgets, underspent or overspent their budgets, essentially municipalities where there is seemingly or allegedly financial irregularities. And then she'll brief the media after that discussion in the next hour or so. And you of course hear that comment about an Imbizo to be held at the Umgeni local municipality. That's the only municipality in KZN that's being run by the DA. So what that DA representative says now, or questions why this government Imbizo will be taken there. Of course, we know that all of these various political moves, political statements are coming up ahead of the next election, and so we're seeing lots of movement on the ground here, and we expect, of course, some response from the KZN Premier in the next hour.
Okay, we'll touch base with you then. Thank you very much, Karinda. Jagmohan.